episode 0 of the UBL. What are we going to call this, Flex? The UBL Talks, UBL something. I don't know. I'm here with Flex, Bag of Tricks, Apex, UBL, and Mariano, Bag of Tricks, Glizzi in the house.
Yeah, twisted ankles,
ABS. So
back to basics.
Yeah.
Unsung B-boys, conscious souls.
Yeah.
Pending member for the last 5 years of Albino Zebra. Pending.
That's a good title, though, man.
Were you Funk Fanatics too?
No. Mikey never put me in. Mikey just let me wear a shirt.
Did you buy the shirt?
No, he was nice. He gave it to me.
Oh, okay, that's nice. But was it your size?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. That's good.
Mikey liked me. He liked me.
Yeah, man, we're here. We figured we wanted to talk. We wanted to do this. It's been almost 10 years since we, everybody here in this discussions kind of sat down at a coffee shop, donut shop. We sat down at Moxie's and we kind of talked about doing something for the community, doing something for the scene, and doing something that we all kind of dreamed about doing. And I wanted to kind of reminisce about that and kind of go back and go through some lessons learned, or what are some things that we could have done different, or what are some things that we learned from those times. And heck, we're like 9 years from that first meeting, but it was about 10. We took about a year or so before we even got to that point. So, I mean, it was crazy. So, I remember Glenn, my brother, just came to me and we were talking. And we're like, "Yo, let's do something in hip hop." And actually, you know what? Before I talk about that, I want to talk about you guys. I first met you guys when I was in grade 9. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Flex does. Maybe Mariano. But we did a talent show in Scarborough at Jean Vanier, which Flex lives down the street from now. And it was my crew, Unreal Ethics. I was 14 and we did this talent show. And I just asked my cousin Joe Silence to be like, you guys want to do part of the show too? And he's like, all right, sure. It was just some throwdowns, whatever. And then we show up there on the sidewalk, and I'm tripping out because, oh my God, Flex is there. Oh my God, Glizzi is here. What the hell is happening? Oh my God, look, there's Gizmo. Gizmo's here. And so it was Unreal Ethics, Third Degree, and Bag of Tricks. We just did a stage show in at a high school, and it was just, I was 14 or 13 or 14 at the time. I was tripping out, and that's when I first met you guys, and it's crazy because coming back to today, it's like you guys are my heroes. I saw you guys on TV, and I wanted to be like you guys, and now you guys are my good friends, and it's kind of crazy that we're in this realm where I got to meet my dance heroes, and I got to work with my dance heroes, and fast forward 15 years later, at the time 16 years later, we're like, yo, if I look back then, like, how do we create more dance heroes? Can we do that locally? Can we help the community? Can we help some young talent and artists get to that level? And we talked about ways we can do that. And one thing that we all kind of grew up on and loved to do and loved to watch and attended, and shit, we watched wrestling. We wanted champions. And the dream was to, like, first of all, it was just to get a belt. The belt is sick. Like, just to get a belt and see who wants it. And it kind of went from there. Like, we had several meetings. We talked about how we're gonna do this, how we're gonna pay for this. So maybe Flex, do you want to go back to kind of what of our discussions were back then, long time ago, and how you felt about the feasibility of something like UBL before it was even called UBL, you know?
Yeah, like the first thing is that Glenn reached out to me because I haven't seen him in a while, and he basically said, "Oh, let's chat." And then I went to a donut shop with him, and he was like picking my brain. He's like, "Yo, if you won like a lottery, what would you do with the money?" And I said, because I was still participating in the scene and stuff, but we weren't getting anyone winning like Battle of the Year or anything like that. Like it was kind of stagnant after we won. So basically, I said to him, if I had money, for sure, I would like do something like a league or something where people could battle on the regular and get the practice in. Because it sucks when you have a city or something or a country that goes to another country and everyone else has all this stuff available to them every week, and then there's nothing for us except a jam once in a while. So people don't really have like something to strive for. So I wanted to kind of make something with Glenn and with you, Geoff, that could be done all the time, so they get the practice. And when they go there, like they're ready and prepared, you know. So and then he talked to you and we got together and they was basically trying to do that. And I think at the beginning we used to go to like dance studios and just do little one-on-one things and we used to get points and stuff because we wanted to get like a roster. We wanted to get everybody paid. We tried every kind of model, you know, like we tried and tried. And I think you can go over some of the stuff we did as well. But it was trial and error at the beginning for sure.
Yeah. Then we called Mariano. We're like, yo, this guy is Caliente is in the house.
Bad choice.
No, man. Like we had several discussions, and you know, and we all had the same kind of aspirations, and I wanted to kind of pick your brain or maybe take you back to that and what you feel some of your goals were in terms of building something meaningful, not only for yourself but something that can outlast like a generation, you know, and carry forward through generations.
Well, when you came to me, you know, we sat down at Tim Hortons over at Scarborough Town Center, and that meeting to me stood out more than any of the other meetings. You know what I mean? And the main thing was like, you know, you had a lot of great ideas. You really wanted to like, you know, do it right in the sense of you wanted to show respect to like people that have been there before, and then obviously give opportunity to people that are brand new, and then give somewhat like a pathway or a goal for people that have been doing it for a while and don't know where they stand anymore. So like you came up with these great ideas, and they were very like I'm going to say positive is the word I'm going to use, and it was positive for everybody. But me being the guy that has been around for a minute, and Flex too, you know, I looked at it very pessimistically, and then I looked at it very negatively, like just pessimistically, like saying it's not going to work, and then negatively, like I was just hating on a lot of the stuff because, or I put myself in a position of if you approached me and I didn't know you. And so my first thing to you, and I don't know if you remember me saying it, but I was like, I said, well, first thing, I go, who cares about all these guys who have names? First thing I said was, forget these guys, you know, forget, and I'll say their names now and they might get mad at me and that's fine, but you know, they're older now, they'll understand. I was like, don't ask Benzo, don't ask Troubles, don't ask, I even said Switch, and Switch was still on the, not the come up, but he was establishing a brand of his own. And I was just like, don't worry about these guys. I go, these guys will end up being your judges later on. They're going to be the guys that are going to be mentoring by the time that this is an established thing. Worry about the cats that are like, you know, brand new, who they've got like a really cool bunch of sets, but they're, you know, they're always losing first round, or they don't make it past preliminaries. Focus on those guys, because those guys are the ones that are going to be carrying the brand, or carrying the torch. Yeah. And I know there was some hesitation. I remember some hesitation from you where you were like, but well, we got it. You know, you were being very respectful, and you're like, you know, but we got to show, you know, the people that have been around some respect, and give them a place. And I'm like, they'll have a place. Just if you're going to do this brand new thing, you're trying to build it with people who are brand new, so that by the time that it gets rolling, then they're moving. And plus all those old guys are going to be like, oh man, how come didn't ask me? How come didn't ask me? And then they would probably try to do something, whether it was, judging or mentoring, or at the time we were even going as far as like, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, like they would be commentating, because, we know a lot of characters that they got the gift of gab. You know what I mean? Whether it's clean or not is another topic, but you know what I mean? So that's, if I was to talk about anything, it would be that particular meeting, because that one was you coming with these amazing positive outlook on the future, and me saying, this is great, but forget everybody from my generation. Forget everybody. You know what I mean? And that's usually not the way you're supposed to do stuff, but it's like, I understood it from a business perspective. Like, if you want to make it work, that's what you got to do. I remember that. And the coffee was all right.
I remember just have meeting maybe once a month or so, and just kind of like going through these checklists and trying to get things done, and but it was such a pipe dream, like, what the heck, when are we going to do it? Like, there was never a good time to start. And it was just like, I know at the time it was like, I'm a perfectionist too. And it's like, I wanted to make sure everything is right. I wanted to make sure we could afford it. I wanted to make sure that this. And then like a few months passed and we're like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, let's just call some of the kids. It's not kids, but some of the guys. And let's meet. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what the vision is. Let's talk about what the reason why we're doing this. And I booked a room at the Delta in Scarborough. We got food, we got drinks, and there was like, 15 guys or something like that, 12 to 15 guys out there. And me, it was me, Flex, Mariano, Glenn, Ray. And we just said, you know what? We want to do something. We want to do this. Are you going to run with us? And that's that was actually about around this time 9 years ago. And I mean, it was something that we just put it out there. It was our opportunity to just put it out there in the universe. You know how they say that, you just put it out there and see where it comes, see what happens. And I'm not sure exactly what the feedback was, or I'm not sure what people felt about it. It was kind of weird. It was like some sort of infomercial and or some sort of like marketing scheme or something, but it wasn't really. It was like, we had some food and whatever. And Mariano did most of the talking. It was like, guys, we want you to be superstars.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
That's exactly what he said. He's like, guys, you guys are going to run shit and we want you guys to run it, and that was always the idea, is that they should run it. They should be the faces and the leaders of what this is. And heck, like we tried to build the league, but how do you get people to dance? How do you get people to, just battle people just cause? Why? How do you do that? Oh man, my camera. Anyway, we're gonna go on audio. I don't know why my camera is messed up, but anyway, yeah. So that's kind of like the origins of what UBL was, like UBL, and we didn't even have a name. We started off as Universal B-Boy League.
Universal B-Boy League, yeah.
And then a few years later, we realized that we had to make it more inclusive, and we revised it to Universal Breaking League. But just going back to kind of that first year, what we did was we're like, I think we held an event, and it was at Draw's basement.
Oh, that was the best.
That was amazing, man. It felt, Flex, you can co-sign this. It felt like being in Grouch's basement.
Yes.
In Teeth's basement. It felt that's what it felt like. It felt like where our origins were from.
So we were like, guys, let's just do these battles, headlining battles. Super exclusive. I bought a whole bunch of beer, and we only let in, I think, 20 people or something like that. And there was four battles, and they battled 5 rounds each, and they were all gassed, and it was crazy. And and Dell spun, and Mariano hosted it, and it was dope, and it was just fun times to start that whole point builder exhibition headlining idea of
what a launch point. You need to definitely get Dr. Draw and hear his rendition. I would love to hear his rendition.
I would love to hear what Draw thought, because it was like, hey guys, you could use my home. Just use my home. It's crazy. I've got a thing with bows on the wall, a whole bunch of some weird paintings, and like just the lighting was crazy.
Here's a little stage where the judges can sit on.
A little stage where the judges can sit, like a stage in his little basement, and then it was called the Theater of Human Health or something. Like,
he's amazing. He's amazing.
I missed Draw. I'm gonna hit him up and talk about that. But yeah, that's it went from there. I got my camera back. From there, it kind of just, we're like, all right, that was our plan.
Yep.
Anything that had to do with open battles, sign up, preliminary rounds and all that stuff, that was secondary. That was kind of like, the pre-show, and we went ahead and said, you know what, let's give this a home. We picked the Great Hall, and and I remember me and Glenn, we went to go meet with the guys at the Great Hall. We're like, we're gonna book 3 days for the whole year right now. We're gonna pick a day in April, we're gonna pick a day in July, and we're gonna pick a day in October, and we're just gonna run with it, and we went ahead and we booked it, and the idea was, let's do a Sunday night. Pay-per-views were on Sunday nights. Let's do it. Let's just do a Sunday night. And we could offer this open competition for the breakers and for the B-boys and the B-girls that want to enter. But really, let's focus on the headliners. Let's find these headliners and pay them, win or lose. And not a lot of people know that, geez, we paid the first main event, the first UBL main event. Okay, there was 3 battles, just 3 headlining battles that night, plus like a little tournament that happened before the event, where we featured the finals in the event. It ended up being 4 or 5 battles that night, and that's it. And it was just intended to be just a party, and just hang out and enjoy the music. And
nice lunch, man.
Yeah, and there was like 100 people there, and we lost so much money. but like we thought that, let's get these guys hyped to battle. You're gonna get paid win or lose. The winner gets a little bit more. Let's see where this takes us. And our first main event was Anton and Sticks. Anton got paid $500 to do 5 rounds. Sticks got paid $300 to lose 5 rounds. And I don't think anyone's kind of put anybody in that kind of position before, where you're just there, 5 minutes of work, not necessarily work, 5 minutes of prep.
No, that's work.
5 minutes of work.
That's work. That's work.
Okay, it is work. 5 minutes of work, but I mean, you're performing. You're performing for the audience in the crowd.
Hey Jeff, is that the same event where we were giving money to people that brought their friends, like the tickets, or is that the different event?
Yeah. That was the same event. The first event, we wanted to entice all the competitors that, hey, bring people. You know, you can make 50% commission or something like that on the tickets.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, we tried everything. There were so many different things that we tried just to bring people in, just to get people to recognize that this is us trying. This is us not really caring about being perfect and just making our
Yeah.
mistakes and learning from everything and just going for it. You know,
This was the grand opening, man.
yeah. I mean,
Draws was a nice soft launch, and it definitely put I think it put a good like vibe out. Whoever was there talked about it. You know what I mean? And you know how word of mouth is. It is what it is. Like, people got to talk about it. People were talking about it. It was whispers, so it was good. But yeah, no, you're right, man.
yeah,
The grand opening was.
that was like, yeah, that was our first year. You know, let's try this, let's try that, let's try an open battle, but let's focus on the headliners. Let's focus on building the main eventers. Let's focus on building the mid carders and getting those mid carders to a status where they can be main eventers, you know. And nowadays I'm thinking, guys, feature battles and expos, they're not a new thing. They are not a new thing. Skills Media has been doing it for years. Everyone's been doing it for years and years and years and decades, you know.
Who can roast,
the
most?
most? You know,
Who can roast the most? Wow.
You know, like, they've been
shout out baby.
Yeah. Florida in the house.
Yeah.
But they've been happening, and we just wanted to take a stab at developing and helping guys and girls kind of feel that headlining role. You know, your name's on your face is on a poster. It's just you, you know, or your name's in bright lights, and I'm hoping one day we can get back to that and that kind of structure, with a lot more that's happening nowadays, you know. So
Yep.
Yeah, these are kind of like the origins of what UBL is and was. We had a championship belt, where
it was gorgeous.
Mariano took that belt and I think he walked down the aisle with it. No,
oh yeah, that's
Kike
right.
did.
A word at my a procession, and then Butter walked behind me like my manager with it up in the air.
This is his wedding, folks.
I appreciate UBL's what's the word, involvement with my signing of my life away.
Not away, just signing of your life. Wait. It's the next chapter.
Sure.
It's the next chapter.
We'll say that. We'll say that. Like I said, when we had our first meeting, you were very optimistic.
Well, yeah, so that's UBL. Like, I mean, that's the league. That is a league, and it's not easy. It's hard to get people involved. I don't think there is really that kind of hunger or that kind of enthusiasm that for me personally, I would have had when I was younger. So I wanted to kind of bring that back to you guys and say, is that something that that's like, do you think that's a generational thing where maybe guys are being way too humble about what their skills are, or and they don't want to look like they don't want to act like they're the best? But I'm pretty sure that growing up in such a competitive culture, that everybody kind of wants to be the best, and it's hard to say now how kind of like a next generation feels about actually acting and putting it out there like that.
I can speak on this a little bit. Like, I know when I was younger, even before Bag of Tricks, it was like so hard to get into the circle. I mean, like, you had these guys who were like my heroes I looked up to, and I tried to get in. It's hard to get into the circle. You have to fight. And it was actually going to parties and going to these sessions, not sessions, that's parties and jams, and trying to get into the circle. Nowadays, it's kind of like there's no more, not that I'm not saying there's no more ciphers. There are ciphers at places and stuff, but like I think people will come for a competition but leave and they don't want to go to the jam for some reason. That's like they want to go drink bubble tea or something. You know what I mean? Like it's different. It's I know in Bag of Tricks for us, I remember like the Gizmo was good, Benzo was good, but there was always like Mariano had his time, I had my time. It's like we all were fighting to see who was going to be the best b-boy that night. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying these kids aren't doing it now. I'm just saying that like I think people kind of accept the role they're in their crews and they kind of just go with that. They have a lot of group practices where people are all together, which is good. And I think people could build off that. But at the same time, we had crew practices with our crew and we built off each other. I mean, like, so when we battled another crew, it was two different styles competing. It wasn't like everyone's at a group practice and then one guy does a move and everyone's sharing that move. And then when you see it at a jam, everyone's dropping that same move, right? So it's kind of, I don't know. I digress. Mariano, can you take over?
No, Flex is saying it right, man. I don't know. Like, okay, so if we're talking about like our generation, we were happy. I know it's, some people might watch this and be like, oh, that's all it takes. But it's like, we were happy lifting up a trophy that didn't have our name on it. Like it was just a regular trophy that the promoter bought, had no inscription on it. Not even the jam's name was on the trophy. Yeah. So like I got awards where there's a trophy and I won it from dancing, but there's nothing on it. There's not even like the name of the event on it. So we were happy like throwing that up and putting in people's faces, like, I got this and da-da-da. So, and again, that comes with the competition that Flex is talking about. Like we were very competitive and it was all about props. Like I didn't, it's different because now there's a big thing with the generation where, and I understand it, they're about followers and how many people are watching and liking your videos and all that kind of stuff. Whereas us, it was about respect, about being able to go to a jam that was not in my area and people were all right with me being there. Because, back in the day and when you're a kid, if you're in somebody else's area and you're from the West and you're in the East, a lot of Eastenders don't like that. If you're from the East and you're in the West, people don't like that. If you're from downtown and you're out in Rexdale, like, it was just like that. You can't run away from that. That's just kids being kids. But we were about like props and we just wanted props. And that's what that meant. So if this was a thing back when we were, I'm not even going to say like on top. Back when we were starting, this would have been something that we were striving for, because we were always about being number one. We want to beat everybody. It doesn't matter if we lost here or there. What matters is that we came back and we won. You know what I mean? So if there was a belt to have, and especially because we were into wrestling, and I'm a big fan of soccer, like European soccer. So it's like, to be able to call yourself the champ for, whatever length of time it is, was huge. And there was nothing really here in Canada that was an ongoing event, that you could keep track or anything like that. The only thing you keep track of was like, you go to B-Boy Summit, or you go to Who Can Roast the Most, or you can go to Battle of the Year, or UK B-Boy Championships, or the list goes on. And it's like you had to go to these particular competitions in order to like, be anything. Oh, Flex, what's that one called in Amsterdam?
IBA?
No, not IB. I don't know if it was IB. What was the one with that the Rock Force gave the SmackDown?
Ooh, yeah. I have the videotape, but I don't remember the competition name. But yeah.
Okay, so that's a perfect example. Here's an event where the promoter flew in two different crews, and it was for nothing. All it was for respect. There was no prize money, or maybe there was, but it wasn't about the prize money. You were only battling that one crew just to see who was, because it was a fan favorite. And that was it, man. And Who Can Roast the Most was another example of that. They just brought like two people that were very similar or very opposite in style, just see who who could roast the most for 9 rounds. So, you know, for us, there's a lot of UBL would have succeeded back in our day because we would have been just trying to win it, to carry it, to throw in everybody's face. Whereas now, you know, a belt, I don't think a belt means as much to the younger generation until they understand what's the responsibility that goes with it. You know what I mean? For anybody who understands wrestling or understands being an MVP in a sport, they get it. Because once you get to that position and you hold that title, now you've got to be the face, and people are going to be asking you questions, and they're going to be looking at your movements. And I'm not talking about dance. I'm talking about like the way you carry yourself. So, you know, there's a lot of responsibilities with being a champ that people don't understand. And that's what makes you a legend. Now, that's what makes you a legend. It's when you get put into the spotlight, what do you do with those 15 minutes of fame? What do you really do with that in order to legitimize and solidify your spot so that way people will talk about you, you know, for whatever. Like, you know, so with social media, you would assume that, you know, like Bag of Tricks is no longer talked about, but we're still talked about, which is really impressive. You know what I mean? You would think that we would just get thrown away on the wayside, but people still talk about us. So now it's, you're combating with all this information, all these people putting up videos of them dancing, not even winning competitions, just dancing. So what makes you stand out? And like, you know, I'm pretty sure that if you show up on your video, you know, or some type of print, and you've got a belt around you, people are going to ask, what does that belt represent? And that, again, then it brings you back to like, okay, what's happening here? Why is this person that? Okay, I need to follow this person. And then, you know, what UBL is trying to do, and then what the new generation is all about, then it kind of coincides together. So, you know, it's such a harder job to make, I think, UBL, you know, something that the newer generation sees as important. And not because it's not important, it's because they need to see how many followers you got, or all this, like, you know, all this very minute, insignificant details. You know what I mean? But in the old days, this would have flown. It would have flown to the moon. Like it's just, if this was available, I would have tried to beat Gizmo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The whole champ talk is I guess it is generational, right? Maybe there isn't enough there isn't enough hype around a boxing legend, you know, as much as there was before. There might be a few, you know, but like, you know, yeah, Flex.
So what I think is, at the beginning, I've always wanted, like, I like UFC and MMA and all that kind of stuff as well. And I was envisioning something like for UBL where we'd have a champ and there'd be people that were training the champ, and then basically they'd have different camps and maybe different schools competing. And the thing is, the similarity with UFC and with us, what happened with UBL is that if you notice, there's a Conor McGregor in UFC, and he's the one guy that when he wins, he either talks trash or he sets up his next fight. He's like, I want to fight this guy, and that creates something. But the other fighters, when they win a fight, they're like, yeah, whatever UFC wants to say. Like, they don't take the opportunity to, this is your 5 minutes. Say, make a path, make the next fight, make the next event. No one wants to promote for themselves. They kind of just want to, like, they win and then they go to the next jam. But technically, that's your opportunity to call someone out, to make it bigger than it is. You know what I mean? Like, we could offer a platform, but and we could try to promote you as well. But it looks better coming from the person that won or the champion or something, where they can draw, have the right direction for that stuff. You know what I mean? Like UFC, a lot of the fighters just come in and they fight, and then that's it, and they keep climbing the ranks, but they'll never be famous because they're not saying what they want. They're not making their own path. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So goes back to, what kind of champ are you? Like, what kind of champ, how do you represent yourself as a champion? You know, are you a boring champion? Are you a fighting champion? Are you just a champ because you're making a paycheck, or are you a champ because you want to make an impact? I think it's all up to the individual. You know, some champions stand out more than others, and some champions stand out so much that they become the face and humongous and make way more money than others, like Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather or whatever. So can we get there with breaking? Maybe, probably. There's a good following. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity that is going to be coming. There's a lot of opportunity that's going to be coming. So who's going to take that who's going to take that opportunity? Not necessarily leverage it, but understand what kind of responsibilities you have as a leader or as an organizer or as a representative from your community to kind of empower others to stand out and to actually like just authentically be themselves and see where that takes them. I think that whole aspect of trying to do something because someone else did it is not necessarily their best self. Like that guy did it, I want to be like that guy. Yeah, you could be like that guy, but the best way you can do it is to be like you guy. Like you be ill, and that's essentially where we're at. So that's where champions that's kind of where we want to get at is let's build champions. Let's build the championship mentality. This is the gold standard, and this is essentially where we've always been aiming to get to from the very beginning. And it's just evolved into so many different paths, but really the essence is like, let's build champions, and let's let the world know that there are champions in Canada.
Yeah. Like I hope whoever listens to it, like, I'm going to give a couple of examples. UBL was created for pretty much everybody. Anybody who's b-boying, who's breaking, anybody who's doing that dance form, that's what it's made for. So, if I'm supposed to give examples of like fighters or personalities, just to kind of let them understand what it is, because I said wrestling earlier, and I don't want people to think like, oh, it's fake and it's staged. It's not fake and staged. It's just that there's a whole production. It's the wrestling production, which is what we were, our the big dream. We all said the same thing. The big dream is to have, without being out of budget, like pyros and the screen in the back with the music, and you have your entrance, and the whole thing, the whole parade is happening. And that's the ultimate goal for the individual, so that they feel important, so they feel like there's a reason for this. There's a reason why they are there. So as much as it tends to the individual, there's also room for the GSP, the technical b-boy that has that just says, I'm here to work, I'm going to work, on my team we worked, and we're going to come here, we're going to work. The Manny Pacquiaos that don't speak English, and they're like, I love my family, I love my country, I'm here to just do what we do, and if we lose, that's okay, we just came to do our job. You know what I mean? And then the Logan Pauls and the other, and his brother, like, there's room for people that say that they're good, but they really, they're just a lot of hype. You know what I mean? They eat marbles on their pastime, stick them up their nose, whatever the case is. The point is that it's made for everybody from every spectrum. So if you're a technical guy that you don't speak anything, so in wrestling, I'll use Dean Malenko. If you're Dean Malenko, a man of 1,000 moves, but you just talk in a monotone voice, and you don't really bring it up like Hulk Hogan, and you don't talk like Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, but you always try to say that I'm going to break your legs, I'm going to grab you into the hole, then that's fine. Like it's if you're an introvert, it's made for you. It's a place where you can just do your art and be proud of it, not in a closed environment, but a way to share it with your parents as well. Because what UBL, another thing that you had mentioned to me in the first meeting was, you want to make it so when a kid goes and tells their parents, oh, I'm breaking, the parent is like, oh, that's a great profession to get into. I'm very proud of you for choosing that, as opposed to like, oh, you're going to waste your time rolling around on the ground. So it's made for everybody, introvert, extrovert, like, it doesn't matter. It's made for every type of personality. It's just, do you have the skills to be the champ? In the end, it's always, do you have the skills to be the champ? Do you have the skills to be a mid card? Do you have the skills to be a main card? Because you might not be battling for the main card, but for the title, but you might be the main event. You know what I mean? So it's definitely made for everybody. And that's the one thing that you brought to the table that I was like, yo, this is good. Because I would have never, no, I shouldn't say never, but for the most part, I would have been an opener or a mid card. You know what I mean? In my days. And then like Flex said, I had some days that it was my, my time, and that's fine. But, I wasn't consistent like a Gizmo, I wasn't consistent like a Teeth or a Cosmic, you know what I mean? I
You're
wasn't.
right. There's a place for everyone, as
Yeah.
long as you work at it, you work hard, you can be represented. And if you want to represent yourself, there's a place. There's always a place. There's always a place in what we provide, and there's always a place in I guess showing your own style and having us kind of guide and help, and understand what your strengths are, so that we can help and guide, put you in the right positions or right scenarios that are best suited for you. And that's essentially what we try to do. We don't try to force anything or anyone to be anything. We say, what do you love to do? What are you good at? And what are you willing to do? And within those parameters, we can provide something.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that whatever we provide is of impact to the community, and more so, we hope that whatever we provide is of impact to yourself, and your personal growth and development. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
even though we're saying b-boys, that's just what the term is called. But
yeah,
that's the original term. It's called b-boying, but
Yeah.
it's open to everybody. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. What we want is, we want the individual to
Mhm.
come out skilled, well versed in dance, and be the, if you're not the champ, try to be the champ, because this is your moment to be that thing that people are looking at, that person that people are looking at. So, you definitely created something. You guys definitely created something that allows people. But I don't think people have really discovered it like they should. It gives them a platform where they can really be discovered. So hopefully everybody gets on board, man, because it's already got its waves. It's already has its foundation. But anybody who has any type of like not inhibitions, but like any type of what's what I'm looking for? Something holding them back.
Yeah, reservations.
Yeah, if they have any reservations, like those will be quenched, put out, just by making a call and talking to either one of you guys. Like, it's or anybody that's involved. Like, it's just, oh man, I wish there was one.
Yeah, leagues are popping all around the world. Like, leagues are coming back because of this whole Olympic movement and ranking system and all that stuff. And it's not an easy thing to do. And I wanted to kind of go back to the origins of why we did this, and all the spreadsheets and all the
Oh my God.
technical stuff, and all the calling and finding out what the rankings, and determining some arbitrary point system, 40 points for every win and 10 points for every loss, and 5 points for every just showing up. You get 5 points. And we were like, if the guy shows up 80 times, he could rise up the ranks. Because why? Because he keeps showing up, and we could reward that. So yeah, I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of bring that back, that whole discussion about the championship mentality and the gold standard, and bringing yourself to a level that you've never really thought where it was possible. And we're here to kick people in the ass and say, you know what, you guys can do it. We can do it. Because the world's moving right now. The world is moving, and people are getting it done, and we're looking at it and saying, we did this, and nobody did it with us. And we're like, now all the world bodies, they're doing ranking systems. Well, we did that,
Yep.
and people want to do exhibition battles. Well, we did that. People want to get paid just to battle. Well, we did that too.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can kind of come to a point where, yeah, this is our open call, guys. If you want to get involved, hit us up, because
And girls
we've
and
got
in
guys and
between
girls,
and
guys.
up and underneath,
Yeah,
all of you.
everybody. If you want to get involved, let's make something happen, because we've already made all the mistakes. We've already taken all the risks. We've already learned everything that you needed to. You need to. Anything that you're worried about, we've gone through it. And this is our open call to say, you know what, if you want to be part of something, we can do it. And I'm pretty sure Flex can lead the way, and building UBL into a consistent and pretty much like a fun, structured organization that aims at developing individuals. And that's essentially where we're at. So, whoa, my camera went out again, but let's see if I can come back. But anyway, yeah, man. I mean, we talked a bunch here. I mean, we're gonna keep doing a couple of these episodes. We can go back. We could talk about some other stuff that we did in the past, but I ultimately I do want to link this back to where we're at. And that's where we're at right now is the gold standard. We're at that whole Olympic movement. We're at Breaking Canada. We're at all that stuff right now, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And right now we're at a point where there's a ton of work to do.
Yep.
And there's going to be a lot of opportunity that comes from that. So before I sign off, I'm going to try to see if I can get my camera back on.
I have that Vanier footage, by the way.
Which footage?
The
Vanier.
Vanier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll try to make it look better. I have a upscaling program, so
I did a thread on my head, and I remember I did that in a battle, maybe on Bathurst after. You guys held a battle. It's a Longos now. It's crazy. We've been there, Bathurst and Lakeshore.
Jesus. Okay.
And yeah, we have this trophy. It's got this like handstand guy, and it says break. I think it says B-boy champion or something like that. Now Glenn was 12 at the time, and it was crazy.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah, and so I did that move, and Gadget got so pissed. Like I remember that. Anyway, that was funny. But yeah, so we'll sign off for this. Again, we're here to build champions in the championship mentality, the gold standard. So is there anything that you guys want to say before we go?
We'll tell them how to find you, man.
Oh man. Well, if you're listening, you found us. But at ubl.official on Instagram, at Facebook / UBL, and UBL on Twitter. It's not really active, but we've got to get active and
It will.
back. So yeah, man. Flex?
yeah,
anything?
for sure. You could get me at FlexBTX Instagram. Everything for me is FlexBTX. So
We're very approachable. If anyone's told the joke in my face and I didn't laugh, I was actually laughing. I just wanted to process it first. So I'm not a dick. But yeah. Hey man, get to know us, man, because like I think we can get places. So
we're funny, man.
Yeah, man. Maybe Collantes is gonna say sign us off.
Oh yeah, Caliente. All right. All right, okay. How about if you are the dancer and you are doing the thing on the floor with the spinning on the head and you still have all your hair, you are amazing. Please come and register for UBL. Become a champion with a full set of hair, beautiful, gorgeous, going in the wind as you're making the moves and the freezes. You are amazing. Caliente no, everybody know. You are amazing.
That's it. That's it. Thanks, guys. That was fun.
Peace,
Peace.
guys.